I figure that most of you that are familiar with, this is like speaking of the choir. If this was 1,000 years ago and everybody was living in the Stone Age, stones communicate, by the way. Let's just say that there wasn't a lot of people here on the planet, and you landed by parachute and go, wow, there aren't any bipeds here. We're the first bipeds, the first hominids. Whoa, the 5-finger people. We're the first 5-finger people on the planet here. Everything else is whales. It's like jumping into Jurassic Park or the Triassic period. Wow. Wow. And you're running a powerful hyperdrive vortex connected to the largest shield volcano on the planet. What a router. A router. Well, you know what a router is and a modem is, right? What an operating system is, running on codes, programming codes held in RAM. So since that it ran out of memory. I didn't run out of memory, although what I realized, and I'll share this with you, when I experience something that I have, like the light bulb goes off, to share it with my router, being on the fastest router on the planet, which is the largest shield volcano. So you shouldn't be surprised why the Draco and the Anunnaki love this place. Main base of operations, energetic operations, is to hang out on the largest router. So, you know, when a hyperdrive vortex shows up, planted to the largest shield volcano, that means my router, which is a hyperdrive, which is a monopole, is connected to another router, shield volcano, known as the tribal shield volcano on planet Earth. So now we're talking about routers and hub servers. The Trinity hub server, right? Oppenheimer models. That's what we call a sample size of a model, which is a sample size of a unit of consciousness, which is a unit of energy that is aware of itself, that was using its energy to do what? Well, he told everybody. Destroy our water worlds. Okay, so plug that into the Anunnaki and the Draco, right? And all their, how do I put this, alliances, relationships, associations with other units of consciousness that they hang out with. And then between them, what do? The obvious. You're experiencing it here. The experience is the teacher, or what we call the informer, the formation of the consciousness that you become aware of, what it does with its energy that we experience as feedback. So that gives us a measurement in a universe of the evolution of that universe in order to be able to experience what? Peace among all the seeded races, which includes them and everyone else that is within this universe that is evolving as new seeds are growing. Right? You need a grower. So my pathway over the last couple of years has been, if you want to map it on their maps, Google Maps, Goo Maps, Google Codes, Play Apps, API interface maps, then you would go, if I can remember, because most of the time it gets discarded. I'm at a point now where if I don't write it down, what comes to me, I'll forget it. It's just gone. That's what happens when you operate on no memory. You operate on pure heart, pure love, pure consciousness energy that is a purified spirit that is in that light. So what it means, we don't experience the past. We don't experience the future. We don't experience right now, which is what love is. That's it. So when you're experiencing what love is, you're experiencing what love is, you're experiencing what love is, I realize I'm accelerating the speed to go home. Although I've always been on. But what it's a measurement of, because I'm on this rock, which is the biggest router, with my router, right, we're really moving at a very high rate of speed now. That's why I came back to this rock. So I was going back and forth between Reno, Nevada, so you can understand why I was in Reno, Nevada. Okay, why I was in every national forest throughout California. Why I lived in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Who's out in Idaho Falls, Idaho? Idaho National Engineering Laboratory, U.S. Department of Energy. EG&G, MK Fick, General Electric, Westinghouse. U.S. Navy was putting all of its engineers and sailors through nuclear training, right, with nuclear reactor power plants. So you know what cold fusion and hot fission is when they're together. What a blast furnace. That's a mated chip, baby. Fuck yeah. Now you're running the hottest router. You burn up all their shit. This is all their goo codes for the crimes they commit against all of creation. What's the law of one? What's what I am? Mated chip is the one. That's the single point, man. That's like pH1. So you realize it starts when D2D. It's not a point of a cross. And everything else that is that God created out of what love is. Right? So that's sort of how that part works. But if you follow the map, you will see, for example, over time, why it is I started with the U.S. Forest Service in 1972 in a place called Chileo and went immediately to the flower shop in 72 and 73, which is KUAI, which is where our experience, her essence was the most powerful because that's a beautiful flower shop. And there's a lot of ether there. Then I came back and cried on an airplane, went back to go work for the U.S. Forest Service, and went right back up to Chileo. What is that doing? That's called that's like what a dog does. Pisses on the tree, mark its spot. So you're flagging it. You're flagging your timeline, which means you're flagging your course, which means you're bringing your vortex in where you're going. Some people call that triangulation. Triangles, right? You're burning a road course like the Road Runner. Remember the Road Runner? They couldn't see the Road Runner. All they could see was the dust. Spinning in all the different directions. Which way are you going? I don't know. Man, we can't account for that. That's random. Man, that's random. No, actually, there is a method to that madness, as they call it on Madison, Mad Ison, Ma Ison, Ma D Ison. Then there's Lovejoy. Yeah, Lovejoy. Yeah, I'll sort of put these little words out there, right? She actually had a beautiful video to show you what a mated chip is. That's a single pole. What's a single pole? That's a single flag pole. One flag. Flag of peace. And that peace flag is white, ain't it? Remember Morpheus? Showed the white background. We could load any program you want in here. Programming codes. So I ran the Vortex because they were using California, which was their base of operations out of San Francisco, which is why I was in Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco and Berkeley in the mid-1960s, then back down to Laguna Beach with the Brotherhood, right, with the CIA in Bluebird Canyon Road, right, and it's called penetration. Penetration, bringing the vortex in. Collecting data. Running a high-speed router. Upload, 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 upload. Cutting them off at the pass. Quantum probability functions. So on this last little what I call roundabout, round up, right? Like, hey, cowboys, let's herd them up. Cow herd, like on that Fox one, cow herd, let's herd the cows. This is an animal farm, right? It's a DNA farm. We run breeding experiments here. That's what they do. They hold consciousness captive through reprogramming DNA and doing memory wipes. Hey, now I don't remember where I am. Remember R2D2 and C3PO? C3PO. So that road course is going through all of the areas where they do their black magic. Okay? Because trees are big mirrors. Okay? Light, convert it. now the tree is experiencing what they are instead of what it once was experiencing before they arrived. So they unlawfully invert what the tree was experiencing before, which was what love is. Now the tree is experiencing what a black mirror is through black magic rituals. With the owl, with the Moloch, and the bow, he, me, I, grove, gur, as in tiger in your tank. Exxon. Yeah, I played with that one day too. Reno was being spun like they had my tail, like a tiger. They had my tail, whipping me around in the vortex, going the other way. Wow, what a lot of D-wave, demonic, a lot of demonic stuff. Whoa. Yeah. Spun around, they're a magnet. Fucking A. Spin it back the other way, baby. We're going back to zero. That's why that router was in Reno. That's why I was in and out of Reno. And these are all very timed events, if you want to think of it as time. When you're there doing what we do with our energy, and why for a particular period of time when I was there, I finally said, okay, because they were tic-tac-toe. You know what tic-tac-toe is? Go back to war games with tic-tac-toe. You want to play another game with an AI war gamer? Right? You can see the chemtrail tic-tac-toe letting you know we're gaming you with this AI, with the ionosphere. We're terraforming, we're going to reprogram what you experience in the future through what we are instead of what you once were. Right? Gooseweiler with Google gave everybody notice through Silicon Wafer Valley wafers, disk wafers. So now you can see why I worked that whole state during that period of time, because they're working in all those areas and those buildings, right? So what was I doing? Collecting data, spinning and routing data through the largest shield volcano connected to Mama's magnetosphere, her motherboard, because of what they were trying to do to her here. Because she experiences everything that happens to her, which means we're experiencing, because I'm experiencing what they're doing to her. Get it up, Mama. Get it up, get it up, get it up, Mama. That's why so many of us are in here, which is a larger formation of consciousness, which is a larger formation of energy, which is an enormous amount of light, which is an enormous amount of love that we connect with because we're one with all the light. That's what we are in living spirit. So the purifiers are here. They know that. And they knew the purifiers were going to be here, which means they're going to bring an enormous amount of fucking heat. You better get out of the kitchen. So that's what a high-speed hyperdrive does. Comes in with an enormous amount of fire to burn off the codes represented by the codes that they run, which is represented by the black goo, the black mirror, in order to unlawfully convert and invert what it is that we use as energy, which is what love is, to create the worlds we live in living spirit. That's what pure light is. That's what a pure heart is. That's what pure love is. That's purified energy in the spirit. That's right. So it's not like they didn't know the purifiers were coming. All you got to do is go take a look at the mob, the allied forces of mankind above. Go look at planet shields. So I realized that it had to be done incrementally or we'd burn everybody up in here. Right? So it's a matter of getting up to gate speed and sealing the branches. which are based on the DNA that represents who they are, because they were once seeded races, something that was brought into creation and is a part of the all creation. Okay, so now we're back to accountability, which is an energy account. So when you're creating energy debts by what you do to others, it's not like the universe doesn't account for itself in energy. To want to be in balance, which is an equilibrium state. So when it realizes it's got a larger formation of consciousness of a seeded race that is violating the law of one at some point in time, it has to account with a simple arithmetic calculator what it's doing with its energy based on what it's doing with its energy. I have to take accountability for my energy, right? So I realized I went back through all the places that I went, wherever I did any kind of harm, because I realized what I was doing, because we do no harm. So I was bringing healing energy in for the last, gosh, I don't know how many years, because I'm not keeping track of time, but I took a route in which to do it. I knew where I needed to go. And so over the last year, it started when I got back from the island of Kauai during the winter solstice, right? Had to rehabilitate myself, reheal myself. That's when I heard the signal in my left hemisphere, get rid of the phone, get rid of the phone. It's time, get rid of the phone. That's a signal that basically means there's not much time left before we exit. That's what that signal means. Well, you know me, Mama. I don't want to lose nobody. We don't leave a soul on a spiritual battlefield to be fragmented as a result of those that fragment souls in order to feed on their energy. That's the worst crime there is. That's a crime against all creation. That's a crime against all of us. Remember that old saying is, what do we do to the least of us is what we do to the most of us. Well, there's more of us. Right? That's why I've been giving love energy to those 4 young ladies that lost their lives as a result of evil that was done to them up in Winnipeg, right? So I suggested this morning, please, my heart belongs to all of you, okay? I will always give you all the love you need to heal you. That's what we do. That's what a purifier is. That's what a pure heart is. Because you will experience how real that love is to experience within your own heart. What I experienced in mine, I share with you. So I tried to share that. I share that with Mohawk Milo Longhouse Stewart, or Longhouse Milo Stewart. I just call him Mohawk for short. Although, hey, there's a lot of Mohawks. Mohawks always love the Mohawk. Yeah, remember? Last of the Mohicans. Beautiful song. I always cry when I hear that song. It's painful because when they hit the beach, when Columbus hit the beach, they have no idea what they can learn through spirit. But they ban spirit in their sciences. Right? West, East, when the Roman Empire split, went Constantinople, went west, and then all their sciences with all their Nobel, which means no sound, prizes. The soul is the prize, remember? You know, it's in everybody's face, basically, but not everybody translates what's happening through all the codes of what they're held captive to, which are the spells. Spelling bees, you know, hive mind, bee, spelling bee, spelling the words, arrangements. Hey, you know, when they go up and have the spelling bee, spell all these words correctly. You know what that really is? That is actually a gold star that they give you, which is not really a gold star because they invert everything. It's actually a black star. They're rewarding you for how well you did to remember the programs that they programmed into your mind, which is your memory. Good job copycatting back to us what we put in your memory. And then you get rewarded for being a copycat, for being inverted by the manner in which they programmed those codes, which are reverse fire letters. Reverse magnetic polarity throw. So you're not experiencing anything in the now, which means you don't have a future. You're on a hamster wheel. That's why they're always chasing electrons, which is chasing money, because the consciousness knows they're not at zero. They keep digging a deeper and deeper hole that they're held captive to, because they're choosing to have a relationship with a parasite that is feeding on them. That's an alkaline, right? So that little router went from San Francisco to LA, okay, back up to Southern Oregon, back down to Southern California, then back up through Shasta Trinity National Forest all the way up to Oregon, in through Idaho, up along the Frank Church River of No Return, up through Grange, Grange, Idaho, up into Missoula, Montana, then all the way up into Glacier National Park, then all the way from Glacier National Park all the way down to Yellowstone on July 5th of last year. Then from Yellowstone, hanging out by the river and what is known as the Gallatin Gateway, from the Gallatin Gateway all the way west, across through the west side of Montana, now up into Idaho, and down through owl territory in Salmon, Idaho. They got a big owl that says, hey, the owls own Salmon, Idaho. Idaho. And then shot down there into near Boise. And then they have the little sign that say, game birds, gaming birds, game clock birds, bird tribes. And then from there all the way down through, which is really part of Oregon, and then down into Winnemucca, Nevada, and then shoot straight down through Reno, and then to Sonora Junction, where the U.S. Marine Corps has all their AI simulators to war game, up over the Sierra National Forest, drop down into the Stanislaus National Forest, to where? Back down to the Angeles National Forest, work with the sun on the mountains above the whole Southern California basin, pushing love energy with a mirror, pushing love energy with my vortex, which is my router. And then I realized coming back up, I thought I might head back up to San Francisco, and then, oh no, my warp bubble broke down on that Ford Explorer. Okay, I get it. I have an escape hatch. Don't break glass in case of fire. So my escape hatch is the big honor. Because of my ability, or anybody's ability, to tap into the fastest router, right? Which was their strong point, right? So I landed here. And that's why it's so beautiful to be able to go out and plant your feet on this rock, It's a high-speed volcanic shield, the largest shield volcano. Powerful energy here. A lot of healing energy here, especially right down the road. Lap hoi hoi. Lap hoi hoi. What a blessing it is to be there. Thank you all for being here. I thank you with all my heart and soul. I love you all, for all of you that are here, for why we're here. Yeah. Anyway, have a beautiful day. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. Mu-ah. Mu-ah. M-U-A-H. Mu. M-U. Matter Universe. Bye now.